Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another StarCraft 2 broadcast. My name is Anaris, and today we're here watching a 1 versus 1 from the Korean server. This is going to feature the Protoss player whose name I am not able to read, but I'm sure he's a cool guy nonetheless, against, down here, the Red Terran player, oGsNaDa. Now I did download this from a Korean replay website, so a little curious to see how this game is going to go. Definitely expect to see some good playing here from at least oGsNaDa. I guess we'll find out if this blue guy is any good or not. So let me see, do I have anything interesting? Oh, actually, I do have one quick thing. I want to tell you about my next Scared in Korea game that I'm going to be uploading in the next few days whenever I get a chance to actually find some good games for it. Basically, I want to do a comparison of a team game that I played on the Korean server against a team game that I played on the American server. I'm trying to find two games that are fairly representative of the typical game that I've experienced over on each server. And I'm really going to be comparing the two, showing the different play styles, and really I've really noticed a giant difference in just overall strategy, skill, and playstyle between the two servers, and I think it's really neat to watch. So I'm going to be bringing that to you, like I said, sometime this week. The problem is I need to find a really good game that's representative of the servers, because there's so many variables and there's so many things that that you really need to take into consideration when you're doing a server by server comparison. But we'll work it out. It'll be all in good fun here. So now the players are starting to build up just a tiny bit. Do want to point out that the Terran player here is going with a pretty standard opener. We saw the 10 depot, the 12 barracks, the 13 gas. See, it's done now, and once that's done popping, probably have an orbital command and a marine pop out of here in just a moment or two. Sure enough, there's exactly that. Again, that's one of the most common Terran builds that you'll see, and the Protoss did scout that. I think. Did he scout that? No. Yeah, he did. Okay, I thought I saw a probe come in there when I was talking. And, he saw that, and really that information doesn't give him a whole lot. Because from this build, you can pretty much go anywhere except for like a 2 racks fast expand, which, I mean, you can even change this up to do a fast expand a little bit, or you can go with a 1-1-1, grab that second gas. There's all kinds of things you can do with that particular build. So probably have the Protoss player go and scout again in just a moment or two. It'll be a little bit more difficult considering the fact that there is a Marine here who is apparently just doing Terran workouts, man. Check this guy out. 1, 2, 3, awesome stuff. And Terran over here is actually doing a pretty good job scouting out the Protoss player. He does have his STV hanging out way back here, which actually, I think you can hide it back there and they won't be able to see it at all. I've never actually tested that before. This is one of the recent additions or changes they made to this map. They made it so that way the gas kind of extends all the way around. You see it's poking out just a tiny bit farther here. So keep that in mind when you're playing Metalopolis. Like I said, I haven't tested it myself, but you might actually be able to hide a worker back here in these tiny little cracks. Now let's actually take a look at the Protoss player for just a minute here. We see he is dropping down his second gateway, just about complete, chrono boosting out that warp gate technology, also bringing in a second assimilator. Meanwhile, over here, he has a proxy pylon hidden. Now this is hidden far away from the Terran player, out of the main pathways, so it's most likely that we're going to see some kind of hidden tech here. Be it a Stargate, we could see some hidden void rays, we could see what looks like a Twilight Council, apparently. So he could be going for a High Templar, he could be going for a Dark Templar, something of that sort. We'll keep an eye on that and see what he's actually going to be doing here in the coming moments. Whatever it is, it's likely to be warp gate based, because like I said, he's just got those 2 gateways, he's got the Twilight Council, so we'll just see. And now we have a Reaper coming over here. Well, it looks like it will be engaging the Sentry, running away from the Stalker. Good micro right there. Oh man, look at that last second save, took out the 1 unit. That was actually a pretty good trade. 50 minerals, 50 gas, for 50 minerals, 100 gas. So definitely worked out a little bit in the Terran favor there. I'm sure he would have preferred to have kept that Reaper, but that Zealot had a few things to say about that. Now down here, oGsNaDa is building up 3 different barracks. He does have 1 tech lab trying to get that stim pack upgrade, and you can see he's already got the concussive shells upgrade completed, so he's probably going to be going a somewhat Marauder-centric build. That is a pretty good idea considering the fact that all he's seen right now are just those 2 gateways. I don't think he saw the third one. That one just went down a minute or 2 ago. Yeah, sure enough there. So we do have a Dark Shrine going down at this proxy position. expansion. Those DTs will be very effective if they're able to get in here and catch the Terran player off guard. But do notice that there is a second orbital command now completed, so the chances are a little bit higher that he's going to have, between the two command centers, at least enough energy for one scan. There's no engineering bay or anything like that. He's just working on one gas right now, so not focusing on upgrades. Pretty much all of his gas right now is dedicated to Marauders and upgrades like stem packs, and also getting the reactor. I almost want to call it a tech reactor. I cannot get that out of my head. One of these days, I swear to God, I'll fix it. In the meantime, though, an engineering bay is actually going down, going to be getting some upgrades for those Marines. He still hasn't dropped that second gas yet, but you look at it, he's sitting on a pretty good amount right now. You see he's not building up any Marauders out of this barracks, but he does have one building out of the second one, and a couple Marines as well. Again, the Marines, very good units for the early game, very high damage output, and if you can get some of those Marauders to possibly tank some of that damage from the Stalkers, then you're going to be pretty much good to go. Throwing down a couple bunkers here as well, just establishing this expansion, looking pretty good. We see the income. Having that expansion already good to go is definitely putting NADA's economy on the up and up. Now, look at this down here. We do have a proxy pylon very close to the Terran base. Now, the positioning of this is, to me, I wouldn't put it here personally. That's simply because of the fact that I would consider this a high traffic area, and it's likely that he could be sitting on an SCV scout or something like that, and they'd see it right there. I would be more likely to put it like right here, where even a command center wouldn't see it for at least a while, and it would still give warp in access down to the bottom. Look at this, 2 DTs going at the top, 1 to the bottom. Looks like he's getting a few kills right here. Taking a look at that, 2 kills down there for the bottom. There are no missile turrets up just yet, but there is enough energy here for 1 scan. You see 1 missile turret has completed down below, so caught that 1 Templar off guard. And here comes the Marines ready to do their thing. Look at that. Got enough energy for 2 scans right there, man. Don't think he's even aware of the fact those Marines and Marauders are here. Sure enough, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 DT is going to be going down very quickly. oGsNaDa responding with the infantry forces and taking out the threat. Another DT is actually kind of running back and forth here. I think he's trying to get past it, but the missile turret there was being built up by the STV that was hanging out way over here on the left side. DT not quite able to penetrate that. Protoss actually might decide to put some pressure on that expansion. Now, there are 2 bunkers here. They're loaded up with Marauders, which will be pretty darn effective against the Stalkers. But there's also a nice number of Zealots here as well. They could prove to be quite useful, chewing through the Marines. And there's also, see the bunkers aren't quite covering lines of fire. This bunker should be able to hit Zealots that are hitting here, but he could engage with the Stalkers and the Sentries and put some force fields down, keep the other Marines and Marauders back, keep some force fields around the bunker, make sure no SCVs come off to repair it, and that's going to be that for that bunker. But we'll actually see what does happen here, as he does look to be engaging, sending in the Zealots first. Actually, NADA bringing his Marines back just a tiny bit, doesn't want to put them out too far, as the SCVs were looking to repair that bunker. Definitely not going to happen, though. Even the Mule coming off the line, just going to be sitting here, and now the second one is being rebuilt. And look at that force field going down. He blocked off a couple infantry. You see he got 3 Marauders there, it looks like. But the bulk of them survived behind the force field and were able to shoot from the safety of that. NADA, thinking there's going to be another attack coming here very soon, is absolutely correct, keeping a bunch of SCVs at this bunker. This one might actually go down. However, the Protoss is DPSing down the bunker directly and not the SCV, so the bunker will complete and then promptly die a very explosive death. NADA is still in the defensive here, trying to just basically hold his own, make sure that he can keep this expansion. Protoss is definitely doing a good job putting the pressure on, keeping the Terran player contained. Now, the Terran player is also, meanwhile, this is all going on, you see he has a factory with a reactor building on it and a starport. Now, given the build that he's currently going, there's really only 2 things we're going to have here. He could decide to throw down a couple Hellions and leave the base and try to go put some pressure on the Protoss mineral line. You see, most of the forces, actually all of them, are down in the southern part of the map, but it's very easy to warp in some units. So what we're more likely to see is some medevacs here coming in the next couple minutes. And do know that the Protoss player is also getting some Templar archives built as we speak. I mean 1. Don't think he's going to be building multiple Templar archives, but there is definitely one coming down the line right now, and Psystorm will be very effective against this. You see, it's a pretty Marine-heavy army at the moment. There are a few additional Marauders here bunkered up, ready to go. That sounds really awkward saying, but that's, you know what I mean. And, yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens when that High Templar lands into the army. Don't think he's going to have the Khydaran Amulet, obviously. He's probably going to get that Psystorm first, so it'll be a little while before we see the High Templar reach the peak effectiveness, but still, Got a couple Stalkers warping in here. There's that Psionic Storm going to be coming here very soon. Let's actually take a look at the Protoss base here. We see he's got that third base going down here. Good position for that. Be able to place it and throw down maybe some defenses here. Guard those tech structures he's got hidden over in the back. That is one thing he's going to have to take into consideration, though. Now that he has the structure over here, he is going to have to make sure that he has some way of defending it, because any scouts that come through like they did earlier will be able to see that Nexus on the way through. Protoss still just kind of hanging out here, not doing any more in the way of DT harassment. You know, there is one dropship actually heading out with 4 Marauders, going to be heading up towards the Protoss base. We see it's got the rally point somewhere up here, and heading over this way. Looks like it's going to be engaging that that Nexus, possibly that tech as well. Oh man, that's going to be super close. I'm pretty sure he will at least get the Nexus, maybe the tech as well. It just all depends on where he lands and what he actually scouts there. So we will watch that. But it looks like Protoss actually might be moving out. No, he's just kind of establishing himself here with a good position on those units. There's the drop right there. No, looks like he's actually going to pull. No, there's the drop. I thought he was going to fly entirely past that for just a moment or two. But it looks like he is going to drop those Marauders and take out that Nexus as soon as it goes down. Good timing on that. And, you know, the Nexus just popped, so he's not going to be able to cancel that. And it is indeed going to come under assault. Got 5 Zealots coming over there. The Marauders should be able to deal with that. Stim and Kite will not be that big of an issue. But now we have the Protoss deciding to come down here and counter. Actually sitting, oh, beautiful Psystorm landing on top of all those Marines. Look at all those dead bodies right there. Oh, wow. Protoss actually throwing down some great force fields as well. And another Psystorm on top of the contents of that former bunker. Oh man, all those SCVs have gone down too. Now he's throwing down that Archon. Good use of those 2 Templar. When you don't have any more energy, you might as well put them in good use. And more force fields have gone down, preventing, once again, repairing. But look at that, there's actually an SCV in there repairing it, even though there's a force field. Oh wow, folks, I gotta say, if that's not begging for a Psystorm right there, I do not know what is. All those SCVs. But the auto turret will save the day. Thank you, auto turret. We love you. And so does the Swedish chef. So the expansion, meanwhile, has gone down up here. We see those Zealots, they did their thing, but it was not without sacrifice. Unfortunately, he did lose that Nexus, so the bases are once again even. And we see that Khaderan Amulet is actually on the way now, so that's going to give him a little bit more of ability to be aggressive with those High Templar, being able to pop out and go through some Psystorms as soon as they are built. Got some more forces coming to reinforce down here. Let's just take a quick look at the army size. We get the 77 to 88. The probe count right now, 35 to 44. You see that Protoss is up slightly on the income by about 150. It's spiking up to 200 there a little bit. But he's also running on 1 additional gas there, it seems like. So that's going to be helping him out a good bit. Actually, is he running on 1 additional gas? I'm not going to worry about it. It's not that huge of a deal. But one important thing that is a huge deal, a Ghost Academy has gone down. If he's able to get out some of those ghosts and EMP that ball of High Templar, which you see they've been kind of clunched up the first or the last engagement, he'll definitely cut some of the teeth off of this Protoss army. Having the Archon still very effective. You know, they do extra damage to biological units, but Terran is definitely looking to put himself back in the game here, taking out this expansion once again. I don't think there's anything that Protoss is going to be able to do about this. No, there is not. Oh my god, he canceled it there at the very last millisecond. Oh, that was so very close. Good attentiveness by the Protoss player. And this time, the Terran player does know the expansion is there, so Nada is going to be taking down that Dark Shrine. Protoss, meanwhile, looking to maybe move out. No, he's pulling those forces back there. No, he's moving out now. Okay, now he just brought in a few additional Zealots while the Terran player is way up here at the top. He is definitely sensing an opportunity here. Look at this. Nada has all these mules and everything ready to repair this bunker, and there's actually not a whole lot of damage coming onto it. The damage is actually from the Psystorms landing on all of those infantry, taking a bunch of them out there. Oh, man, just one more Psystorm right there. Please, for the love of all that's holy, he's not going to do it. Oh, well, that's okay. Yes, I realize I have an unhealthy obsession with Psystorm, but you know what? It's just like seriously one of my favorite abilities in StarCraft 2. And there we go right there. A Psystorm in like one unit. That's cool. Only I would approve of that. Protoss actually managed to establish a foothold here at the top of the ramp. There are many bunkers, lots of structures here to prohibit or at least hinder movement up the ramp and establishing himself in the base. But And you see Terran has finally arrived down here. Got a bunch of Marauders, couple Medivacs here have survived, and he's definitely going to be looking to establish... Oh my god, look at those Snowstorms on top of all the infantry! Oh, they're chasing them! Those storms, it's a storm front and it's just floating all over the place. Oh, sweet Sally, how I love you, or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just get super excited here. But you know what? NaDa, I think at this point, is in a lot of trouble, man. You see, the infantry... gone. The expansion gone in about 5 or 10 seconds. And you've got Protoss running around all portions of the Terran base. Look at this right here. This one Marine is just like, oh god, I hate my life, oh god. And now he's going to be dying a horrible death. So this poor Raven is left to bear witness. You see he's actually checking out, trying to play his video games on the screen there, moving that crane, trying to pick up that little doll from that bin of like a million little random nonsensical trinkets. And now NaDa is lifting up his structures. Alright, well, maybe he thinks that this is going to allow him to blend in with Metalopolis. You see he's got this one factory hanging out right here. Nobody here but us buildings. That's definitely a unique strategy. Alright, so I'm just going to have to assume that that's going to be GG right there. I have no clue what these guys are saying right now, but I'm sure that we'll say that's GG. One of those things is GG. Because, I mean, really, what's Terran going to do at this point? Except make the Protoss get Void Rays, Phoenix, and lulls for the next 5 minutes. Alright, so that's going to be it for this game. I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down here. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to try to bring some more interesting games to you from the Korean server. Like I said, this is just a game I found on a replay website a little while ago. Figured it'd be a good one to cast because it has oGsNaDa in it. Figure it can't be that bad. So, anyways, definitely a good performance by the Protoss player. And if you haven't already watched them, make sure you check out those IEM games I cast a couple days ago. Actually, I think it was more like a day ago, but that's okay. And that's it. Bork, bork, bork.